And if you look at life as it is a trial ground, a testing ground for where you need to belong, where you need to go, suffering is a fact of life. It's a great tool to callous your mind.
Nothing brings a better world into being than the stated truth. Now, you might have to pay a price for that, but that's fine. You're going to pay a price for every bloody thing you do and everything you don't do. You don't get to choose to not pay a price. You get to choose which poison you're going to take. That's it.
Living your life as though you are the source of it. Now, it's not like we're not victimized. We're victimized by a lot. It's a choice to live in the way where you see yourself as the source of everything. How am I the source of it? Don't get caught up in the negativity of victimization, because you'll get stuck there.
And this is why identity change, by definition, needs to be painful and uncomfortable. Because if it's not painful or uncomfortable, nothing's changing, nothing's shifting. There might be a perception of a change, but ultimately the only way our values change is that life knocks us on our ass a little bit and causes us to question everything we understand.
A lot of good ideas are both good but also anxiety provoking. In other words, if we were really to listen to them and take them in deep, we'd have to change things about our lives. There's no such thing as laziness, it's just fear. You're afraid that some things you might hit upon might open doors through which you are not keen to walk at that time.
People who are capable of creating strong connections are people who believe that they're worthy of love the way they are right now. It doesn't mean that they don't want to become better, but they believe that they are still lovable. They're people who have the courage to show themselves the way they are to the world. Vulnerability is our ability to act despite the uncertainty of how our action is going to be taken.
This moment we all have, this is true, and then we never pay attention to it. In my eyes, you're just freedom, but you've created an unnecessary route to get to what you are.
So start with a big, big, big vision. Put it out there, and if you want to have a lot of urgency in your life, put it in time. You see, because when you put a big vision into the future, it almost begins to pull you into who you need to be, what you need to do. It begins to give you your actions, and it informs you about the ways you need to grow and develop immediately with an urgency.
Anything you pursue, like our mind plays this little trick on us, which is when we want something, our brain only shows us the good side of it. It doesn't show the sacrifice required for it. Everything has its associated problem. But our brain doesn't think about that when we're pursuing it. And so for me, like one of the most powerful heuristics is to simply, instead of thinking about what benefits I want in my life, I try to think about what problems do I want in my life.
Believe is that the surest way to actually influence or change the way you influence the world is when you change your relationships with yourself. What I believe is that authenticity is not really choice. It's a prerequisite for a lot of things. Being yourself, being honest with yourself, being true with yourself, actually accepting yourself and loving yourself is a prerequisite to being happy, to living a fulfilled life.
Say this life is imperfect, and if you're suffering and flawed, it's not that your life has gone wrong, it's that you are human, and that's the basis upon which we start all our work. And one of the first things we do is to say to people, you know that all of us are trying to be impressive. But actually, what wins us friends, what truly breaks down barriers between people, what wins us enduring loyalty and love and ultimately safety is the revelation of vulnerability.
You are what you love, not what loves you. And I realized the only reason I had been stressing was I was under the illusion that who I am is what they think about me. And how could I be what someone thinks about me? What one person thinks about, one person could hate me, one person could love me. So if I think one person loves me, I become that, and I think this person, no, I'm not what they think of me. Do I accept what they all think of me? Do I love them in their hatred of me? And when you go back to your childhood, that's who you actually are.
Wake up. Tell the truth. Be afraid, but be afraid of the right thing. And the right thing you should be afraid of is not saying what you say, because that's the same as not being.
We must align your vision with the self of your future fulfilled. We cannot receive into our lives that which is inconsistent with our identity to have. So we don't have to resolve all the trauma in our lives before we can have what we desire. What we need to do is to stop identifying and being defined by that trauma.
Everything that I'm scared of losing is going to have to be taken away from me to make room for what I really am.
So if you open your heart, you're like, I'm scared I'll get hurt. Actually, you're getting hurt because you're not open. Life is trying to give us a ton of shit, but we've never seen what life's like when we're not constantly scared of our own darkness and achieving to avoid it.
So it's not about sharing the darkest secret about ourselves. It's actually willingness to act without knowing how the world is going to receive you.
Imperfection stalks us. I don't think we will ever overcome it. And indeed, the quest to be immortal, to be free of blemishes, to be always correct, to say and feel always the appropriate thing, is in itself a form of madness and wrongness. And I think that we best accommodate ourselves to the conditions of life by accepting in an a priori way that we are flawed, those around us will be flawed, we will make errors, those around us will make errors. We are largely in the dark, therefore we need to go easy on ourselves and be generous towards others